One of the most common questions I get asked by people is, Ben, why does it take so long? Why does it take so long to get through the interview process? Why does it take so long to get a job offer? And if there is one thing I have learned in 13 years of recruiting and talent acquisition, is that it always takes longer than we'd like. But in today's video, I'm going to give you 7 of the most common reasons why the process takes so long and why it takes so long for you to get an offer. Let's go. Now, this first one's going to be incredibly frustrating, but it is an absolute truth. And one of the main reasons why it takes so long to assemble a final interview or get to the final interview or get an offer is that while you might be an amazing candidate, every hiring manager in the world wants an additional 1 to 2 to 3 candidates to compare when it comes to final interview. So you might be the type of candidate they feel they can absolutely hire, but they may not want to go to final interviews or extend you an offer until they've gotten the opportunity to talk to 1 or 2 other people to compare you against and make sure they're making the right decision. It seems crazy, it seems frustrating, but it is the absolute reality of interviewing is that every hiring manager, even if they think they may have found the candidate, most of them want to see 1 or 2 more. Another reason why an amazing candidate who the hiring manager absolutely wants to hire ends up getting to the end and then it takes longer than you think makes sense is that you have a really high salary. And that in of itself is an issue. But if you're being hired onto a team and that would create equity issues, they might be figuring out how they can deal with that. Does that mean giving other people increases? Does that mean having the new kid on the block making more than some of their seasoned team members? Does that mean trying to negotiate with you and extend you an offer that's lower than what you want, but more in line with the salaries of the other people in the team you might be joining? So that is another common reason why it takes so long. Another big hang-up is that when you're talking about final interviews, you might be talking about 2 to 3 candidates and 3 to 4 people who need to be involved in that final interview. And scheduling becomes really challenging, especially if people aren't doing a great job of being communicative. If anyone is traveling, like if the hiring manager is traveling or one of the peers they want to pull into the interview process is traveling, it is going to make it take a lot longer. So the third reason why this process can take so much longer than we think makes sense is just coordinating interviews. Now, this probably frustrates you as a candidate, but I can tell you this reason I'm about to share with you frustrates recruiters to no end. And that's the hiring manager who's been telling us, I need this person. When? Yesterday. That's what they always say. When do you need this person? Yesterday. Okay, great. And it's a huge priority, but something comes up and now hiring for their team takes a back seat. So all of a sudden they were like, we need this person, schedule, get me candidates. And then something happens and all of a sudden they become unavailable for a week and a half, 2 weeks. And you have candidates ready in process, but now all of a sudden there is a delay. Believe it or not, this happens all the time, and it's one of the reasons why your process might be extended or delayed. One of the more frustrating reasons why a process can take a long time is if all of a sudden there are extenuating circumstances, like there is a disruption to the market, or all of a sudden there is a bit of slowing of orders, or there's logistical issues. We've all experienced that over the last couple of years. And there might be a change in terms of company need. They might be pushed back, like the need, like we don't need to hire this person actually now until Q1 of 2023. Or they might eliminate the position entirely so they can get into the process, interview candidates, have them in the process, talking about scheduling final interviews, and all of a sudden there's a bit, wait a minute, let's pump the brakes. We don't know if we need this person now or ever. And that can delay the process significantly. Often they do end up still hiring the person, but it can absolutely slow the momentum when you're in the moment. Whenever a company thinks about posting a position externally, they should take a real good hard look at everybody internally. Is there anybody who would want this role and is qualified for this role who might make sense to examine? But they don't. And the next reason why your process might take longer than you'd like or than you'd anticipate or than you'd expect is that you're going through the process, they're getting candidates, and all of a sudden an internal candidate emerges. And this person has an inside track to getting that job. So if all of a sudden, out of the blue, all of a sudden somebody on the internal team is a player for this role, well, that is another reason why it might take a long time. Because all of a sudden they're pausing all the external people, like, wait a minute, let's not move forward to that final interview. We need to have this person go through the entire thing from beginning to end. Interviews, talking to their boss, making sure it's a good fit, talking about what that would mean in terms of internal movement. And all of a sudden, you, the external candidate, is experiencing a massive delay. Now, the final reason why this happens is there is a red tape when it comes to actually having the offer. They go, yes, we want this person, but there is system things that need to happen on the inside, whether it's SAP or they have other systems like Workday, and they need to generate an offer, they need to check certain boxes, they need to make sure certain things are done. So everybody's yes, 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 but we still have to deal with the red tape of being in a corporation and making sure we can actually extend a physical copy of the offer. That happens all the time. Now, the next video you need to watch is this one, and this is 10 things that you never want to hear in an interview. And some of them you may have heard in the interview you're doing right now, and some of them maybe you didn't. But either way, if you hear these things, one of them, two of them, or more, it's probably not a good sign. You just never want to hear any of these things in an interview. So watch it so you know what they are.